Hi everyone, good morning. I am just going to take a second and I'm going to set up my camera and I'm going to load our comments and our video, and I'll give everyone a second to come in. I hope everyone is doing well. It is first thing in the morning here on Tuesday morning. And I want to apologize, guys. I probably have really bad light this morning. My sunlight is coming right through my window. I'll just give everyone a second to come in. Good, everything looks good so far. I'm in the right group. Perfect. Yeah, I'll take a couple of people. Perfect. I'll give everyone a few minutes to come in. Hi, Morg. Good morning, love. Thanks for joining. I'm just going to give everyone a second to come in, and we're going to get right into it. So I've got a couple of inks in front of me. I have Ground Espresso Distress Ink, Wild Honey and Forest Moss Distress Inks, and I have Speckled Egg Distress Oxide. So those are a couple colors we're going to be playing with today. This is where we left off in our journal, because basically we took a little break from working on the journal and we made a bunch of ephemera pieces. So I have taken pictures of all of my ephemera that we've made, and I'm going to get that posted into group later on today. And I'm also going to work on a cover photo for my lives where it has a bunch of my elements that I've made in the background, and it's going to say Junk Journal with Fifi. So I'm going to do that as well. So I'm really excited for that. And then I wanted to announce something too. So I'm going to wait till everyone comes in and I'll make a couple of announcements, because I have a really fun idea for a group challenge. And I have already mentioned this to Lou. So I want to let everyone know what our group challenge is going to be. And it is going to be for the month of November. And for me, it's going to be a Photoshop challenge. So I'm going to post it in group that I'm doing a Photoshop. Just writing this down for myself. A Photoshop challenge. So what this is going to be, I'm going to have everybody submit to me pieces of their artwork that they have done. And as you guys can see, when I'm creating digital pages, what I like to do is I like to take photographs. I like to take different elements. And what I want it to be for this challenge, because I'm basically just looking to challenge myself in Photoshop, I want you all to submit me a piece of artwork that you have created, and I need your signature on your artwork so we all know that it's by you. So sign your piece of art that you've created. I'm going to create a post. Everyone is going to post their work there, and that's your submission. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take your artwork and I'm going to make digital pages. And it's going to be a lot of fun because it's going to be all sorts of different themes. So it's not going to be any particular theme. It's going to be very eclectic. And then I'm going to, for everyone's art, I'm going to create a digital page. And then what I'm going to do when I'm done, I'm going to post the collaboration of the digital pages into group, and everyone can enjoy to use them in their junk journals. So it's going to be free to everyone in group because it's a group participant, and I'll submit a piece of my work as well, so that we can all have some fun with that. I have an art journal I can scan, so I'm really excited, and I'm going to post the event into group, and everyone can comment on the post. So something I want to do. So it's a little Photoshop challenge for me. So I just wanted to share that. That's something that I'd like to do, and I'll mention that again at the end of the video. So essentially, we have taken two different kits. The actual pages that we've done throughout here is my forest song kit. So it's all nature themed and animals, my forest song. And then I've taken the other kit, which is my vintage field notes, and I've done different elements because, again, a lot of the kit is not only, it's like eclectic, it's steampunk. It's kind of like a field notes, nature sort of theme. There's all kinds of elements in here, from steampunk elements to vintage elements. I created my own vintage ephemera for this kit. That's all Canadian. So when I showed the kit, I showed that it could be used, because it's traveler's notebook size, so it is smaller pages, as you guys can see, than a regular. There's about an inch off of each one when you cut it down. So the pages are a bit smaller. This is more for doing pockets and ephemera pieces, and doing file folder journal projects, which I'm going to be showing next with this kit specifically. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And so you have the full pages like that are traveler's notebook size, or you could actually cut the pages in half, print it on cardstock like I have, and then each of them becomes a journaling card. And then I've done them and there was 34 pages total per kit. And so when you cut them in half, it gives you 68 pages. So it gives you 68 journaling cards. And then, so this one here, I've actually put in here as a pocket. So then we can take something and we can tuck it into our pocket. So it's just a lot of fun. And there's all sorts of ways that you can use these. You can use them as journaling cards to tuck into. And again, in our ephemera pieces, let me just grab that. These are our ephemera pieces. So again, I've added them like as tags in here. I cut one down for, again, I matted, for this one here, we matted in there, and we have a journaling card, and then in here we have, a little folio. There we go. And then over here, same thing, we have the pocket, and I matted the inside of the pocket. We created the acetate window, and then we have our large journaling card for here. And then we did a small one in this little envelope that we did, and I put a tab on it using Tim Holtz tiny attachers, I want to say, and labels, I think it's called. It's one of his older big size. So anyways, we're going to go ahead and we are going to start decorating and adding our ephemera pieces in. So I'm hoping to pretty much get this journal finished today, and then we can start our next project. So that's kind of the goal. Hi Daphne, thanks for joining. The other thing I really love to do, and I want to show you guys this die, it is a stitched slot pocket set. So basically, it's for your Sizzix die or your Gemini, and you run it through, and then there's another piece that you can do. It's like optional. You can put it on top to create a pocket on top of your slot pocket. So this is really fun when you get different dies that are elements that you can use in your journal. So again, all we have to do is ink this up, and we could add some little ephemera pieces or something to our pocket, and then it'll just be like decorative. So I just wanted to share that. So this is something else that I really love to do. And then once we fold it along our crease line there, it's going to give us something like this. And then we just have to ink it up, and we literally just have to glue all along here, and we put it into our journal. So again, that's something I like to do on like a back page kind of thing, something like this. We could do that here. And then we add it in, and then we have our slot pockets. So I'll show you how to do that as well. So let's start out. So we have to just kind of figure out what we're doing. So again, I did some ephemera pieces that were actually from the kit, and I just have them kind of, some are tucked in, some are just sitting here. I showed you guys how I like to stencil around the spine, but then what I like to do too, and I want to grab them, sorry guys, they're right in front of me, I just have to get up. My Tim Holtz stencils, and I like to have them handy. So for this, I want to use the same ones that we were using. Just give me a sec. Sorry, guys. I've been tidying up my room quite a bit, and I've had stuff everywhere. I know I've got some honeycomb in there, and I've got, yep, the squares, tiles, and looking for my splatters. There we go. I'm looking for grunge. Yeah. And I'm looking for, I like that one too. Flourishes and grunge. That and speckles. Oh, I have 2 of these. It's another fun one too. There we go. Perfect. So I'll just put those beside me. There we go. So they're out of the way. Okay, so I have a few of Tim Holtz stencils in front of me. So after I've done that, then what I can kind of do is, and this is what I like to do. So I've used Vintage Photo for that. And then I want to take the same stencil I was using, and I'm just going to come in and kind of fill in gaps. Because when I'm initially starting out the journal, it's hard to know where you're going to place all your elements and what sort of things that you want to do. So I like to leave myself that kind of creative freedom as I go. But I do like to add that something right into where the spine is, because this area is really hard. If you can see, guys, when you've got your book together, it's really hard to get into those little nooks and crannies. So again, for this, all I'd have to do is just kind of come in kind of like this with my Distress ink, and same with here, just kind of like this, just to fill in my page. There. So it just gives me that extra something where I feel like I've filled it in. And I could probably even just take my envelope and kind of tuck it here. So I'm super happy with that for the first page. This leaves me some journaling space. So I do like to leave lots of journaling space so the recipient can put their own stuff in. I've done some honeycomb here, but I don't feel like I've finished it. So actually, we could add some kind of an element there. This here's a little tuck that was part of the kit. So this would be a good place for our first ephemera piece. And this is what I like to do too, guys. So that kind of looks like a hot mess across here. And it doesn't matter because I just did it to cover, as you guys can see. I'll show you. Here we go. Because this is the same page. So I did it from here to here, where I just did like a section in the very center. So it gives that continuous flow from the underneath part of your page. So it just doesn't look stark white. Because I find that a lot of the time, once you've matted it, it's too hard to get really close to the edge. So then you end up with this like white line. So that just prevents it. So I like to do a little bit of stenciling that goes kind of from one page onto kind of the other, if that makes sense. So that'll be perfect for our first element. And we'll put this one here. Let me see. I really love this one. That kind of interferes though. Okay, something a little smaller, but we want something taller too. We could have this as a tip in actually. Maybe here. That one. Let's see here. Or we have bunnies. We could have the bunnies here too. So this is the other thing. Now we can add them different ways. So we want to, so I just kind of play around with it, guys, until it looks right. Maybe not that one. Yeah, I want one of the tall ones. That one might be, you know what, that might be great here. And then see, I just have to break that up a little bit at the top and the bottom. So what I can do too is just add like maybe a little bit of this, just to, I'll show you guys. So then I have an idea of kind of what I want to do there. And then I can just kind of add a bit of soft, just to kind of blend it in. And I'll show you guys, just like that. A bit of soft to kind of blend it in. Here we go. There, like that. And then my ephemera piece is going to go right here. So if you guys can see that, I've just kind of blended it in, and it looks much better. And then of course, if you want to, you can go ahead and you can ink up your pages like this. Or if I wanted to, I could just simply, if you guys see, I can add very lightly just by doing one of these, where you're slightly inking up your pages, grunging it up just a little bit. And the other thing I like to do too is some script stamping. So if you want to do that, this is kind of the time to kind of build your background up. There we go. Perfect. Just like that. And then what I want to do, so we've created it that our pocket goes like this, exactly like that, and then we can tuck something in there. And I just want to glue down, here we go, this portion. And then we can decide too if we want to make this a tuck. So what I can do is I can either glue the whole thing down and just make that the one pocket, or I could glue this down like this, and then I could leave this open here that I can put another piece in, or I can leave it open at the top that I can put another journaling card in. So maybe for this one, I'm just going to glue this one right down for this one, but I will show you with a different one. So again, we're just going to glue the whole thing down. Because it's the first page, I like some stability. I don't like too much popping out on my very first page. So for me, the elements that I like to do like that, I will do them closer to the center of the journal. So then you have like half of a journal kind of thing as a reinforcement for them to hold everything together, if that makes sense. So I just wanted to share that. And then I want to make sure that I'm tucking this underneath this one, and I'm keeping everything straight, right like that, because this here's a little tuck. If you guys can see that, I can tuck something in here. So I don't want to glue that straight down. There we go. So I have my two little elements on that page, and I'm really happy with that. And I'm going to leave this blank because again, you can put some journaling here, you can journal here, you can add stuff, and we can go back and embellish, because I'm going to show you guys some clusters and some different things that we can do to embellish. So right now it's just a matter of getting our pages all stamped, inked up, and getting our ephemera pieces in the way we want them. And then we can go ahead and we can add other little elements and doing collaging and different things as we go. So I just wanted to share that. So I'm really happy with that. So far, here's our first page. And that might not stay there. That's just going to sit here for now because we have a little tuck here. We could do something else here too. Journaling page, a little tuck. There's our next page that we did here because that's our second page in. And then here, and then I have one of the envelopes attached. Done a little bit of inking, but not too much. And I want to grab one of my script stamps. Should have it just right here, kind of handy. Sorry guys, as I've mentioned, I'm in such a mess this week. I've got to get my room cleaned. I've got stuff everywhere. Here we go. This one is called Reflections, CMS 111. And I like it for the numbers, and I like it for that center script. That's one of my favorites. And literally, guys, I would just come in with some distress ink like this. Yeah, right like that. Or just take your stamp and just, yeah, one of these. We're going to ink it all up. Just like that. And then I like to do bits and pieces, so I'm not like overcommitting. Like this. And like that. And like this. Just like that. That's how I like to do a little bit of script stamping. And you can add several colors. So I've just done that in Vintage Photo. And then I could come in with that beautiful forest moss. And it's hiding. There we go. Oops. And again, I'm using distress ink because I'm just creating like a background. Oh, what did I do? Yep, forest moss. Yep. It just looks really dark from here. Okay, add some here. And anywhere where we have a white space. So again, that's another great way just to add something into your background. And I could do it here too if I wanted to, just adding a little something. Just like that. You can do it on your cards too. So like if you have envelopes or something, you just want to like add a little bit of extra. Absolutely. And it just gives it that little bit of something. You can do postage. You can do just about anything with these. And I'm going to do the same thing over here. I really like the forest moss, the green. And I've done that grungy I believe that one's called, yeah, it's called grunged. Grunge. This one, nope, that splatters. Yeah, this one here. Grime. That one. So I did that right along there. And same thing, just add some script stamping here and there. And you can add ephemeras in and do all kinds of different things. Okay, for this one, yeah, we have that one blank like that. I don't like to do ephemera on every page. I like to, here we go, we have a double-sided one here. Now, this is the other thing I like to do, guys. So now that I have a double-sided kind of page, I like to come in and I like to do some stenciling on one side and decoupage on the other. So I've done it that I literally have, that's why I like to take the two pages and in the center and flip them the opposite way. So then when I turn the next page, I have two, and the next page I have two. So then I'm able to come in with something like this. So here's my, this is more fancy. This is my, my floral stencil. And again, guys, one of my favorite colors is Wild Honey. And I love that combination of Wild Honey and Vintage Photo. Sorry, guys, I dropped my blending tool. There we go. And I'm just going to switch them out quick. So I'm going to go from I had it right here. Sorry, guys. There it is, it fell. Like, why don't I see it? Because it fell. There we go. There's my Wild Honey. And then we're going to go right into here. We're going to pick it up. And I just like to kind of go in like this. And actually, I want it to come out of here. So if we're doing the left-hand side, I like to flip my stencil over. And just kind of, here we go. I'm just going to pounce and do some details in here. And then I'm going to grab my other blending tool here. And I'm going to pick up my vintage photo. Oh, there we go. And I'm just going to give this a blend. And this is one of my favorite ways, just to add that little something. And the combination of these two colors is just beautiful. And just do like a pouncing and like a blending motion. There we go. And as you guys can see, it is just gorgeous. So I have places that are more wild honey, and then I have places that are more vintage photo. So this is one of my favorite ways to do stenciling. So that just absolutely made that other side, and it just gives it that little something, and it doesn't really need anything else. And you could do journaling here and just about anything. I like to do sprays and splatters sometimes like that. And then what I do like to do is, this is where I would take my napkins and do a little bit of decoupage on the page. And I want to show you guys a little trick with that. So I'm just looking for that. There we go. So my little trick with that, so again, we have our napkin that's here, and we have our beautiful bunnies. So I'm thinking we'll use this little guy here. So this is where I like to use my other ones. So essentially I'm using like a full napkin. Maybe we'll even, yeah, I really love that. So we'll separate that like this. And then what I like to do is do the same sort of elements. So I would do this in signature 1, like in the first one towards the front. And then I'll do this again in the third one, like right here on the same page at the back. So I have similar elements throughout my journal, and I like to spread it out. So I just wanted to share that. So again, I'm just going to tear this exactly where I want it, and I have a lot of room, so I can add my little butterfly this time, because we had to, on the ephemera piece, we had to take it off. And then, there we go, just like that. And once you have your pieces exactly where you want it, then you can pull off your other 2 plies. Because most of the times your napkins come in 3 plies. So I have 2 here. You guys can see that, 2. And then my top ply. And then I just separate them like that. And I keep this because I can stamp it and make my own tissue paper. And that's a lot of fun too. So now what I want to do is, I thought I had an extra piece of cardstock here. Let me see. I don't. I'm just going to grab, I'm going to grab a piece of printer paper. Just a couple of, sorry guys. There we go. So what I like to do is take my paper, or I have a mat as well, and you just want to protect your next page. So I would tuck it in here like this. So I have this like this. And then I'm going to take my Mod Podge. And that's my favorite thing to decoupage with. I also use gel medium, but not for this. When I'm using gel medium, it's for collaging. It's the base for your distress crayons. It's also great in mixed media and all sorts of things. But for decoupaging napkins, and I love it for tissue papers too, but for decoupaging napkins, I just use a matte Mod Podge. And I'll show you my method, because essentially what this is, guys, is just glue. And it dries clear. And with a matte finish. And I like to do a pouncing motion so it's not going on thick. cleaning my room is on the agenda this week. Sorry, guys. So I want to make sure my brush is completely dry. I'm going to come into my Mod Podge and I'm just going to pounce it. So I have it on very thin. I'm not doing a thick layer, and I'm just going to pounce. Just like this. And I know that my my napkin is prepped and ready to go. So I'm just going to stipple the area. It's like a stippling effect of the area that I want to cover so that I can add my decoupage, my napkin. Here we go. And I'm just gonna, here we go. I want to make sure the whole thing is stuck down before here we go. And I find with this effect too, you're not soaking your page. So I'm not going to make what I've done on the other side bleed between the print and the if you guys can see that, we're not bleeding. Okay, and then I just, again, same thing, I just a tiny bit, just enough to seal it. And it looks more like dry decoupage because there is a method of doing it with a glue stick, and it's like a dry decoupage. I don't have a lot of success personally with it, but I know that a lot of people who junk journal like to do that, where they're essentially putting down glue stick and then they put down their napkin and they use glue stick over top. I rip my napkins like 101 different ways. So it's just not successful for me. So I find if I use just at that tiny bit of Mod Podge, I get that same sort of effect. There we go. Just like that. And this doesn't even need any sort of anything like additional, like any sort of stenciling. I could leave it as is, or I could just I have this one here. These are Dilutions shimmer sprays. These are very much like Tim Holtz mica, so I just wanted to share that. So let's use this one. This is like a beautiful lime kind of green. And same thing, guys, I spray my pages and I ink things up, and I find as long as you're not, you know, doing it super thick like it's an art journal, then you're not going to get too much bleed through or anything. And the other great way too to apply sprays and things is using a gel plate. So if you prefer that method, absolutely. So essentially, same thing with hers. You want to make sure that your mica's all off the bottom, just like Tim's. And I think we're good to go. And then we just, yeah, let's give it a little something. There we go. Perfect. Just that little bit. And I could probably continue it. Yeah. Right like that. Just that little bit of something. And it's mica, so it's going to be pretty. And I could come in and, yep, bleed that off if I wanted to, like this. I'm really happy with that, guys. So again, just play with your products and have fun. And if you guys can see, oh, I got a little bit of bleed through to the other page because of the mica. And that's okay. That gives that a beautiful effect as well. If you guys can see that. So that I don't mind. But my decoupage, it won't show to the next page. So, and then the other great thing too, it's tacky now. It's not soaked. So all I have to do is hit it very lightly with my heat it tool, just for a minute. You know, and like Tim says, you know, when it's dry, it's dry. And you just give it a little test with your hands. And it doesn't take forever to dry because you've only used that tiny little bit. And I'll be able to go right on to the next thing. And I have that crisp image that's transferred to my page. So I just love that. And I like to do the same thing, flip it over and do this side. Rub it just to make sure it's all, yep, like that. The tackiness is gone. And then once it's dry, there's no tacky. And then once you know that the tacky's all gone, like once you can feel that the tacky's gone, then you know it's 100% dry. So that's how it is for decoupage. There. And that's that. And I can go on to the next one without worrying about my page sticking together or it affecting anything. It's perfect. So that's why I like to do it super thin. I don't like to do it thick, because the thicker you do that, the more wet your page is. This page here will run, and it'll take 2 days for it to dry. So I just wanted to share that. That's why I use that tiny, tiny bit of Mod Podge. You don't have to use much. And I love that it dries matte and it looks like it's part of your page. But it has a really beautiful texture. So I just wanted to share that. And then I can pull out my pieces of paper and I can move on to the next thing. So again, we went from here to here. And we're just going to kind of, oh, and I see I got some splatters onto the next page. That's pretty. And they're all mica. And then over here, so I've done that one here, and I mentioned I'm going to do the bunny over here. So I've just kind of put this in where I think I'm going to put that. So I'm just going to tuck it there. And then I have another bird napkin here too that we have used before. So we can use the same kind of elements. And I love these ones. And we just use a section at a time. And I think I want them facing that way for this one. Yep. So I'm just going to tear it. Yep, right like that. Across the top. I like the torn look. There we go. Oh, I guess they're all the same way. Doesn't matter how we look at it. Okay. I thought maybe they were different. Perfect. So again, when I have it where I want it, I just take my, because I always have to make sure that you're taking off your plies. There we go. Perfect. And I find like a jar of Mod Podge will last me probably 2 years. And then I just buy like these little ones that are like a refill for it. So I don't buy the other. So I initially bought the 8-ounce bottle, but now I've been getting the small little bottles at my dollar store. So that's what I'll just do. Just go buy 4 of those and then I can fill up my container. But it lasts a very, very long time because again, I only use this for napkins. And I've just found this to be the best thing to put them down. There we go. To get them to stay down. There we go. There we go. And I find too, the more Mod Podge that you have on here, the easier it is to rip your napkin. So I just wanted to share that too. You just want enough that you're going to be able to put the whole thing down. And some people like the wrinkles. So if you like the wrinkles, you can absolutely wrinkle up your napkin. But I prefer mine smooth. So again, that's just preference. But there's no right or wrong way. And then I just, again, want to do a very thin coat. I'm not sure where I've picked up purple from, but I've got purple on here. Maybe it's my paintbrush. That's okay. I can embrace that. I have a little bit of hangover, and I've got a little bit of a tear there, and that's okay. Because we can just, there we go, embrace all of that. And then I just like to make sure we're sealed. And you can kind of tell the areas that have been sealed and the areas that haven't. So I just like to make sure, again, by going over very lightly, that we've pretty much got it. There we go. And the same thing, we can just come in with our heat tool. And give that a nice, and dry that. There we go. There we go. We're nice and dry. That went on really thin. There we go. And I have the ducks in the background. And again, I can take some of that micro spray. And it's great since I found hers. I don't have to worry about hoarding it. Because the Tim Holtz one is, his sets are all seasonal. One and done. And then you can't get any more until 2 years from now. So next year he's going to re-release last year's. So we have a tendency of not wanting to use stuff when it is under that kind of circumstance. So I have his as well, but I picked up the Delusions. This is her everyday line, and I'm so excited. There's 12 colors, and they are readily available. So as soon as I run out of these, I'll be able to order more anytime. And she's got all kinds of beautiful colors. She's got crushed grape. If you guys can see that. Kind of looks like Hocus Pocus. And she's got black marble. So that's a black one. And it's same thing. It's mica and it's shimmery. And this one here, she's got Tangerine Dream, which is a beautiful orange. And then she's got Funky Fuchsia. So again, that's another beautiful, like pinky purpley color. I'll show them to you guys. So there's 5 of them. This one here is called Bubblegum Pink. And then she's got Pure Sunshine. That's a beautiful gold. And again, they are different colors to Tim's. So I just wanted to share that too. So it's kind of nice too to have a bigger palette. This is post boxed. That's a beautiful red. And then she's got cut grass. That's a nice green for Christmas. And she's got another green here. You can see they're totally different. This one is polished jade. And there's 2 more. Yep. And we have the blues, and they are London Blue and Camp Soteal. So they are just beautiful. You guys can see. The colors are just fabulous. So yeah, she has a line of 12. So I just wanted to share that. And again, they're called Delusions Shimmer Sprays. And they're made with mica. So that's what I'm using today. There, and I can pick up where there's excess and extra. There we go. And I could do the same thing. I could do more stenciling over there, but I think what I'm going to do is just maybe do some spraying, because I really like that effect. And this time, whoops, we could do let me see here. I've got gold. And then it's easy to journal over this too. So that's the other great thing. So, you know, just doing like a couple sprays and splatters. There's our gold. And again, our green. There. And you can pretty much say done to the page, right? And then when it dries, we can come back and we can do journaling, or we can add elements, and we can do all kinds of different things. So I just want to give you guys some inspiration. These are different techniques and things that I like to do in my journals for sure. So I just wanted to share them with you guys. There, I have elbow room. And then again, I just would take like a napkin or a tissue, and then I can come down and pull up any excess or extra. And then I can, there we go. Perfect. And again, it bled over to the other side, and that's okay, because I can do different stuff over here too. So if I really didn't like that, that's where I could add, again, one of my elements if I wanted to, like this. Right like that. I might even do that. I really like that there, actually. Yeah, let's go ahead and add this. Okay. Because we're going to cover elements on both sides. And that's the great thing about junk journals, guys. If you don't like something, cover it. And, or something didn't turn out the way you wanted it to, or, I like to add my elements to both sides of my pages as well, not just the back sides, when you're adding pockets and different things. So I like to embrace that. And who doesn't love a little ink sprays? I absolutely love them. And if you want a more subtle effect, use your gel plate. So when you're spraying your gel plate, when you're transferring it off, it just gives it, it tends to be more subtle. There we go. And I can add this. I want to embrace some of that. There we go. Right there. That's perfect. There. And again, we flip up like this. Yeah, like that. We're a little journal. And we have a little tuck here, like that. And then we tuck right back. The bunnies. There we go. And I could have made that a pocket here if I wanted to, but I didn't. I just glued it in. Because again, we are again at the kind of the start of the signature. I like to give things just a little bit of stability as I go. So I've got that one here. And I don't want to add too much. I've got my decoupage now. I have it here. Yep, and then we did it on the other side. Yeah, hold on. Yeah, we did our decoupage here, and we did it on our other side, which is here. There we go. Sorry, guys. Yeah, and then we did this one. And I can leave that blank here for journaling. And then we have this one, same thing. I don't like to add too much. So that's 3 ephemera pieces for the first one. And I do like to leave the recipient lots of space. And see, as you guys can see, we're starting to bulk up the journal too. So that's kind of the whole point too, right? So we have this one here. And again, what do I have on that first page? Now I've got the deer, so I want to leave that be. This one here's an, like a floral page, so I could go ahead here and add a little bit of mica spray. And you can use any of your ink sprays. You can use Distress ink, Distress Oxide, Seth After's Eyes ink sprays. His are wonderful too. And I do love his collection. I want to pull that off. I love his collection of his mica sprays. They're just amazing. And actually his are 2-ounce bottles instead of, or is it 4-ounce bottles? Oh, they're bigger than the oxide sprays. Anyways, I'm not sure what size they are. I'll have to show you guys after. But I use those quite a bit too. I just don't store them at my desk anymore. I find that my sprays don't love my window. I had one of them go moldy, so my window's too damp. So I store them closer to the other side of my room. There we go. That looks more like continuity. There we go. And then I can turn around, guys, and I can decoupage this, and I can stamp it. So I just wanted to share that. So don't throw this out, and that's beautiful mica that I have on here. And I'll be able to get that as a totally different effect when I decoupage it down to something else, like a tag or something else. So I like to keep that. And same with here. You guys can see this. This is like perfection happening in a different way. So I just wanted to show that. There's all sorts of things you can do. So I save my scraps and my little pieces of stuff. And it's awesome because I've just got, yeah, the mica transfer all over the place. So that's good. I'm super happy with that. I want to put one of my elements here, I think. Yep, we're in the second signature already. I have bunnies here. Let's do our bird. I really love that. And I'm wondering if I could do him in a way, yeah, that he's a side pocket, like along here. So for this, and he's going to hang over a little bit because this is a little bit big, I think, for the page. And that's okay. And I can show you, that's another great thing to show you guys the way around that. So essentially what I'm going to do, in the event that your element is a little bit bigger than your page, then I'm just going to take the side of my page. Hope you guys can see, and I'm focus good. Here we go. And I'm going to just put my bead of glue down to the edge of my page. And I'm going to make this edge here where the pocket is. So I'm going to want to do all of this right along here. Because again, it is bigger than my page. And like that. And approximately the same going to the top. So I have something that looks like that. And then I'm going to take my element and I'm going to attach it, but in a way, and we'll turn it this way because this is the best way to kind of gauge that. And we're just going to slide this until we have it perfectly symmetrical across here, but we're going to have a little bit of a hangover on either side. So that's why we wanted the glue right on the edge of that page to glue that down at both sides. And that's okay, guys. If you can see, a little bit of hangover the top or the bottom is perfectly fine. And I have both. And that's okay. And we just want to make sure it's like straight. And then I just want to make sure that I'm reinforced along the entire bottom. There we go. And again, the entire top, because that's a little wonky across here. There we go. Perfect. And then this here is going to be a side tuck. So I'm going to be able to take one of these journaling cards once I cut it down a little bit, and I'll be able to slide it in. And maybe we'll do that with this one. Here we go. And I would just have to chop it down just a little bit. I and along the one side. Just like that. We should be able to get that in here. So again, I just take off like that little 1/4 of an inch every time until it perfectly fits. So that's just what I keep doing. And then it's not too much and it's not too little, because I find that too, especially I get impatient sometimes and I will cut off too much. So I always have to make sure that I'm not doing that. Okay, I'm not sure why that's being stubborn. Yeah, and then that didn't want to glue down. Okay, I need to take a little bit more off. I thought for sure that would have fit. There we go. Yeah, and then that didn't stick. Okay. And I should get... There we go. And then I can just tuck it in right like that, and you guys can see that this is a journaling card behind here. And yeah, I didn't get the proper stick with this. Let's try that again. There we go. And I'm going to hold that down. There we go, and that side's not glued. Good. Oh, and this one came up as well. It's just being a little bit more stubborn because it's thicker. That's okay. And here we go. There. Sometimes you just have to give things a little bit of reinforcement. There. I'm super happy with that. And I love that with the birds and the rabbits. Again, a great journaling spot. And I like to do elements like this for once in a while too, because then you can add like your own photograph here, or if you've taken a picture of a bird that you absolutely love, or you know, or even if you have a nice memory of camping or hiking or going outside or something with your family, then you could put your nice picture in here, because that's a whole thing, right? We're making journals with, you know, our keepsakes and our memories and things. Or even you could journal about your favorite, you know, trip, outdoor trip or something, or with animals. You could do some journaling there. You could put a picture there. You could do anything. So that's a great thing. The possibilities are endless. So now we're almost done the first signature. Oh, and then there's our center where we can do some more decoupage. So I've already showed you guys that. And I'm going to get this all caught up until next week, because I'll pretty much want to get the journal finished where I can do a flip through and then explain how I've sort of done most of the things, because this is pretty much everything that I wanted to show you guys with this one. And then we can move on to our next one, because this is how I would make like a journal that's done out of an old book. Because there's different methods, guys. When I'm doing file folder journals, it has more of elements that's pockets upon tuck spots and things that are hidden, and it folds this way and it folds that way and has flips and flaps, and that's kind of my favorite thing to do, and that's where I get like my ideas for my folios and my things like that. And to me that all kind of goes hand in hand with these like little steampunk elements. I've just purchased the Tim Holtz elements for his Physics Chapter 3 release, where he did the file folder that has all the numbers on it. So I have a whole bunch of stuff I want to show you guys, and I want to do his little envelopes that he's done in the die sets, and then he's got the specimen card. And then I have specimen cards that I did in my kit as well. So I have so many things I want to show you guys. So I'm really excited for that. And that's going to be our next project. And it's probably the same thing, going to take us a couple months like this one did. So this is just one way. So there's so many ways that you can make a journal and put... It's the same method though for putting your pages in with the 3-hole pamphlet stitch. Or you could do the 6-hole. I find the 3-hole to be easier, and it's easier to teach. So if that makes sense. And then what I can do too is I can take little charms and I can attach charms here, and then I have little charms that dangle. So there's all kinds of things that you can do. We have these pages for journaling. I can add some more stenciling, and then we just keep adding our ephemera as we go. Yeah, that's signature 2. I wanted to leave these ones kind of blank so you can journal. That has this element. So as long as each one has kind of like 2 elements, and then I like this one too. Maybe we'll add the bunnies here. And this is the other thing I can show you guys. So not all envelopes, we want to add them in as envelopes. This one I can create something called a tip-in. So to create a tip-in, I'm going to glue this part of my entire envelope, even though I've heat embossed it. That's okay. Because sometimes at the last minute we decide to do other things. I've just prepared it that I could use it as an envelope going into the journal. And that's okay. We're not going to do that. So now that I've glued that whole thing, I can line this up right along here with the edge of my journal, right along the edge of the page, right like this. And I'm just going to give that right like that, like a little reinforcement down. And that's how I'd add what's called a tip-in. So then it goes like this, and then I can mat over it. So I could take something that's, if this was a journaling card, I could take a journaling card and I could add it right here over top and glue it down, and then turn this into a pocket if I wanted to. And then this would flip over and it would hide that. So that's a great way to add all kinds of elements. So I just wanted to share that. It's another thing that I love to do. And I noticed my trim is coming off. And then I do too, guys. I like to go through and some of the elements that I've added or things that I've done, I like to add trims and things to them. So same thing, I could add the trim this to this pocket here. I can come in, I can add trim here if I want to, or I can add it here, or I can add it to the other 3 sides except the top. Or I could add it right here to the top where it just sits at the top. So there's so many things that you can do. You can add it to your envelopes, the bottoms and sides of your pages, kind of like even how I did it here, right? Where I've added trims and things here. I'm going to make something for the inside pockets. So there's just so many things that you can do. Like, your possibilities are endless. And that's the great thing about making a junk journal. There's absolutely no rules. So you can ink this and you can stamp it and you can do mixed media. You can just leave your pages blank and plain if you want to. You can use coffee dyed paper. You can, there's all sorts of different methods of dyeing your paper. The possibilities are just endless. There's just so many ways that you can add things and do different things. Yeah, so I'll do some more decoupaging there because I have other bird napkins. And then I'm going to put another bunny at the back. And we'll see what else I have for animals. I just love that one here with the baby cougars and the baby wolves. I've got something there. So see, again, if you know, like I have like a whoops kind of thing, that's where I can like add my elements sort of in. So that's probably perfect for here. Because again, I would want this in the second signature, because if I have 2 of something, it's going to go in signature 1 and 3. If I have 1 of something, it's going to go into signature 2. And then if I have like, I like to kind of make things sort of symmetrical. You don't have to. It can be very eclectic. It's, you know, like for me, I started scrapbooking, right? So I'm still hung up in that where I like my stuff kind of to match, right? Same with when I make a kit, it all coordinates. And then I have that too where I like my certain kits to go with other kits that I've done. So I sort of have some kind of symmetry going. And this is going to be the perfect spot for this one. So I'm just going to glue the whole thing down just because I feel like it needs to be reinforced, because it is a larger element, and something like this I'd want towards the center of the book so it's protected by the rest of the book. So again, I'm just going to put this down. I don't want it to hang over too far either. A little bit, but not too far. And there, I like that towards the bottom. So that's great right here. Okay, and again, I'm gonna tip that up right like this, just so I can, yeah, reinforce that whole thing. There we go. I've split my tops, so what I can do is I can reinforce that with washi tape. So that's no big deal. So sometimes that does happen if you're using thin cardstock, like I am. I just have to add a piece of Tim Holtz washi tape to that, and I can reattach it, no problem. See, you guys can see it's just coming off a little bit. So that's how I'd fix it. There's nothing that can't be fixed. There we go. And this is great. You can do some journaling on here. And the same thing, then the whole thing opens. Yeah, right like that. And that wasn't straight here, and that's okay. And that's the great thing. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's perfectly imperfect. And then we add, I can add little ephemera pieces and all kinds of stuff in here. And there's all kinds of different ways where you can, you know, you take little bits and pieces and do collaging and layering. And we'll continue with that and we'll keep going. And I'll show you, again, some different things, and I'll have that planned for next week. We will make some clusters and some different things and some different elements. And then once we have the book together, and see guys, it's starting to get a little thicker now that we're adding some elements. And then I want to show you guys how to do a, not a tassel, but what I like to do is add different elements to here. So I'll add some trims, and I'll add some beads, and I'll add, like, we can make, like a beaded dangle, and we can add that to here with some fabrics and different things, and it just gives your book that little something. So I do love to use these little, hitch fasteners from, these are not Tim Holtz, these ones are from Amazon, and they're like, they're on a brad, and I showed you guys when I put the book together, and I get them for about $11.99 Canadian from Amazon, and they come with about 40 or 50 of them, something like that, in a bunch of different colors. So I just wanted to share that. See, I'm super happy with this. All right, guys, I'm going to check our time. I think I'm going to leave it at that today. Yep, it's 10 o'clock. I'll leave it at that today, and I'll be back next week, and we'll just keep continuing to work on our journal and getting our ephemera pieces in. All right, thank you guys so much. You guys have a great week, and I will see you back soon. And as I mentioned, so everyone, I'm going to be posting into group a challenge that we're going to do, and for me, it's a Photoshop challenge. I have my Christmas kit available, and I'm not creating another digital kit until January for my shop. So what I want to do is a little challenge for myself to be able to kind of create on a whim. So that's kind of what my challenge is for myself. So I'm asking everyone in group, because as you guys can see, when I'm creating like a digital kit, I take like photographs and I take elements and I take different things and I put them together, and that's how I create my digital pages. So what I'm asking from all of you guys is to submit me a piece of your artwork. So you will still own the copyright to all of your personal art. I just want you to submit me a little picture of it, and to make sure that your signature is on it so we know that it's yours. And then what I'm going to do is turn it into digital pages, and then I will compile them. So if there's, say, 10 people who participate, we'll do 10 pages. So it's for however many people participate. So it's kind of the challenge for me to create a full page, an 8.5 by 11 page, out of a piece of your artwork with other things that I have, like in my digital inventory, and just see what we come up with. And then I'm going to post those pages to group, and everyone in group can print them and use them as pages for free in their journals. So it can be anything, guys. It can be anything that's like a floral themed. It can be animals, anything that you have either drawn or painted or created. So, I mean, you guys have creative freedom with that. So I'm really excited. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I'm excited to see what we come up with. And then I will post the digital pages to group. So I'll post this little, a little post about that. And then you guys can all submit your artwork. Okay, thank you guys so much. You guys have a wonderful week. And I will see you back next week. Thanks, everyone. Bye.